Okay, yes, so thanks for doing this for FERNTV. I just, I guess the first question I want to ask the both of you, of course, is like, what was the origin of, the inspiration for Incandescence, and how did it start, and how did it get going, of course?
We first started thinking about this film in late 2018. What happened was the summer before, we live on the Sunshine Coast in Gibsons, and the summer before we were socked in by wildfire smoke that was coming from really far away, far up north in an area called Williams Lake. And it was the first time we had really experienced the impact of wildfires. And so we thought, we wanted to explore that within the context of climate change. And we went to the National Film Board of Canada and talked about the idea. And they were on board with it, so to speak, um, right away. And we started developing the film with them and then continued until now, and they're distributing it. So.
Yeah, and one of the things that we always think about when we're developing a new project is what can we bring to the conversation that's new? How can
Mhm.
we do this in a way that people haven't seen before? So we looked at all the different wildfire documentaries that were out there, and we wanted to do something that covered some bases that weren't covered. For example, we wanted to bring in the perspective of the non-humans, because we're such a human-centered mindset usually. We wanted to, how are they impacted by wildfires? We wanted to look at the land as it moved through the seasons, and we wanted to look at things over time because often we're just focused on the moment itself, wildfires affect communities and ecosystems for years to come. So we wanted to track that as well.
And we also wanted to create something that was more immersive. And so we used some techniques that we haven't really used that much in the past, in our past work. Like we decided not to use talking heads in our documentary, which is, when you see the person being interviewed.
Yeah.
Speaking. And we also wanted to use sound design as our score. So we don't have a musical score per se, but the sound design, the soundscape carries us through. And we also wanted to explore the character of fire. Fire is a character, and so we did a specialized shoot where we used an extreme slow motion scientific camera to film fire. And so we see it up close and slowed down in ways that we don't see it in everyday life.
So, with the Los Angeles fires being so recent, and of course, this film being at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, how are you two preparing for some of the questions in the Q&A session after the film?
Well, I think one thing we will do is do a trigger warning, before the film and just say that because this is an immersive film, it really takes you right into the journey of facing a wildfire. So if people aren't comfortable with that, it's not a good idea to watch it. But on the other hand, it can also be very healing because it also shows the rebuilding process and that new
Right,
life can come up after a fire. So
right.
it will be. I think it will be an emotional journey, um, and we want people to be sensitized and sensitive to that they are going to be in for a real experience with this film.
Right. So, of course, there's a lot of animals in this film. It's very animal centered, of course. Um, and I like the fact that you're showing the ecosystems in this film. But why do you think the media has failed to show this aspect of, when it comes to wildfires?
Well, we tend to be very human centric in our existence, and we need to, I guess, be mindful that we coexist with wildlife and with the environment, and that we make up part of the ecosystem. We are not the ecosystem, and so I think it's just a mindset expansion that is perhaps lacking. And so that's one of the reasons why we um, intentionally included wildlife in our film.
And we have heard from some of the indigenous participants in the film that they really appreciate that inclusion because it
Hmm.
speaks to their understanding as well of the land.
Hmm. Now, the volunteers who were fighting these fires, like, what did you learn from them, and their time and effort into fighting these fires, and yeah, so what did you learn afterwards about this group?
Well, there were several volunteer organizations that helped in supporting people impacted by wildfires. And these people are really what give us hope in these situations. We had the Animal Lifeline Emergency Response Team, which rescues and takes care of animals who are evacuated or left behind during a wildfire, as well as the Mennonite Disaster Service, who helped with rebuilding homes. Um,
Particularly for people who are underinsured or uninsured.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, it's really vital that the work that they're doing is vital and needs to be supported more because they're really giving their time and energy
Hmm.
to help people during these extreme and chaotic situations.
But one of the main through lines in the film is with a firefighting outfit called Rider Ventures, and we really learned a lot from spending time with them and working with them as well, and just seeing, the understanding of fire that they have, their relationship to fire, and their ability to work these long hours in these incredibly difficult conditions, and the heart that they bring into it. They're really putting themselves on the line to help save ecosystems, save communities. And they were really an inspiration to, and we spent years with Rider Ventures. They called us their film family. We really got to know them well.
So, bringing the film to Santa Barbara at this time, we're hoping that um, audiences will gain a deeper level of understanding for the people who are impacted, the communities, as well as the first responders and the um, difficult work that they endure. And, we're really looking forward to engaging with people and having deep, open discussion.
Hmm. I mean, that was going to lead us to my last question: is how does it feel to be part of the Santa Barbara Film Festival? But like, as filmmakers, like, yeah, how does it feel?
We love the Santa Barbara Film Festival. We had our world premiere for Metamorphosis, our climate change doc there, some 10 years ago?
2018.
2018,
Yeah.
and it was actually really a wonderful experience being there. Although at that time they had just had been hit by the Thomas Fire a few months before, which was then followed up by what we call a hydroclimactic whiplash, in which these massive rains came down, destabilizing the mountainsides, which had been burnt and causing massive flooding and mudslides. So that year, the festival was almost closed, shut down, but they kept it going and delayed it. And so we went there with, again, a very timely film. And once again, in years later, we're back again with another film, and history's rhyming, and there's another cataclysmic climate event, these massive wildfires. And so, I think the role of documentaries is to reflect back the world and help us understand better in a deeper way. And I hope that's what being there will offer to the community. And it's a great launching pad for the film. It's great to get this film out into the world at this wonderful film festival.
You know what? Thank you so much for your time, for the both of you, and congratulations on being at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. And thanks to you for doing this for FERNTV. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having us. Great to be back.
Thank you. Thank you.